What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another movie review. My name's Big Cam, and today we are talking about 2024's The Last Showgirl. And I believe this came out at the very end of 2024, so I will be tacking it on to my new watches in 2025 and my new 2025 films, which does include a few 2024 films that came out at the tail end of the year that I wasn't able to see until 2025, and this movie is now out and streaming on Hulu, I believe, or it might have been Peacock. I think it's Hulu. But the last showgirl herself, Pamela Anderson, did quite a good job in this movie, from director Coppola, who is Francis Ford Coppola's daughter. You know, Francis Ford Coppola, who I believe did what, the Godfather, pretty famous director. So his daughter now directing her own type of movies, and she did a very good job in this. It was shot well, it was directed well, the script was pretty good, but was it entertaining? Not in the way I like to watch my movies, I watched a couple movies over the weekend that were new movies that had just come out or just released, and The Last Showgirl was one, The Brutalist was one, and both of those were kind of getting acknowledged at the Oscars last year. And then there was one that just came out on Max over the weekend called Mountainhead. And of these three movies, Mountainhead I found the most interesting. It was the most compelling, the most entertaining. It had a good cast of comedians, but they were being serious, right? So then they were being funny, but then it was serious and it was weird. But there was also this murdering mystery aspect to it, where you're like, oh god, are these guys gonna kill each other? Where you're trying to figure out what's going to happen. Where this, in The Brutalist, I wasn't necessarily trying to figure out what was gonna happen. I was just, with this at least, I was following Pamela Anderson. I was like, this poor woman, this, the story of, it's a truthful look at what it was probably really like to be a showgirl in Vegas. And she was really proud of herself for being this beautiful woman on this strip. And now times have passed, and she's now, in the back of the group, and she's not as beautiful as she once was when she was 19, and now she's in her 50s and she's still doing it, and she's trying to do it, and they're shutting down the show. And man, it just wasn't a feel-good movie, you know what I mean? By the end of it, I didn't finish this movie going, oh wow, that was a good movie, it really made me feel good, it made me feel sad for Pamela Anderson's character, you know what I mean? I don't know, but Pamela Anderson playing Shelley, Jamie Lee Curtis playing Annette, Dave Bautista playing Eddie with long hair, definitely a wig, but either way, Dave Bautista, I was like, wow, with hair, you look good, brother. Brenda Song was in here, I was like, wow, I like Brenda Song. Kiernan Shipka, oh, that's who that was? She was actually quite good. Billy Lord was in here, not a whole lot of other people. Jason Schwartzman for a quick second, which, oh god, he plays such an asshole in this, he just had to be the guy to tell her how it is, you know what I mean? She's at an audition, he's just kind of listen, has to tell her how it is, but also he could have been a little nicer, but he just, wasn't, just had no filter and just let it fly. And the poor woman, but it's also 89 minutes, right? So it's just under an hour and a half, not a crazy runtime. The Brutalist is 3 hours and 21 minutes. You want to know what's brutal? That runtime. The whole movie, I was like, what is brutal about this other than the runtime and how I've spent my entire day watching this fucking movie? And then afterwards, I had dinner and then went back and watched Mountainhead on Max later that evening, and that's an hour and 49 minute movie, and I liked it way better than The Brutalist for the sole reason that it didn't make me sit through 2 extra hours of movie, you know what I mean? Oh god, The Brutalist was brutal. It was well done, and there'll be a movie review coming out for that tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But oof, man, out of the movies I watched this weekend, there's three movies: Mountainhead, The Brutalist, and Showgirl. Showgirl is number 2 by default, because The Brutalist was brutal and Mountainhead I actually quite liked. So stay tuned for more movie reviews coming your way. But overall, I gave this movie 3 out of 5 stars, about a 6 out of 10. I liked it. It was well done. The cast was good. It was where most of my stars go, is towards the cast, and I enjoyed the actors, and seeing Jamie Lee Curtis and Pamela Anderson and Dave Bautista, those 3 people that I know and I enjoy was enough for me to stick around. But, you know, was it a cheery movie? Was it a feel-good? Or is it so funny that you're gonna leave like, oh my god, that was such a good time? No, not in my opinion, no. And by the end, was it so good that you wanted to watch it again? No. You know, much like with The Brutalist, I got to the end and I was like, well, I'm glad I watched it, but I'm never gonna be watching that again, you know? And it just is what it is, you know? Like, there's certain movies you watch one time, you get it, and you never watch it again. I'm the type of guy, like, I like entertainment movies. Like, recently I've been rewatching a bunch of the Mission Impossibles, you know, just keeping myself in the Mission Impossible mindset because I've been dying to see Final Reckoning, and I've been rewatching those movies. I just saw it, now I'm seeing it again a couple days later, and I'm no hesitation enjoying it all over again because they're taking you on this adventure and this journey and this crazy impossible mission, you know, like, and you're just engaged. Even if you have seen it, you're still just engaged, enjoying the crazy spectacle of watching Tom Cruise do these crazy stunts. Like, and even if you're not that big a Tom Cruise guy, you're like, God, Tom Cruise is nuts. You see him jumping off this building, like hanging on the side of that plane, like, what a nut job. This movie just didn't do any of that for me. Is it a good story? Sure. That's why it's a 3 out of 5 stars. Not a bad score, not a great score, but not my type of movie. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But shout out Pamela Anderson, Coppola, and the cast in this. They did a good job nonetheless, and it was cool to see Vegas like that, you know, and what I wish I lived in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s when Vegas was in its prime, you know what I mean, and when showgirls were ruling the strip and everyone went to the casino wearing suits, you know, and like Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra were performing. Like, that's my vibe, it really is. So I would have loved to grown up in that time and been able to see Vegas in that time, but beggars can't be choosers. It's 2025 and it's a different era, baby. So it is what it is, and thank you guys for coming on by, and my name's Big Cam. If you want to follow my other social medias, links down in the description below. If you want to talk more movies with me, you can comment below, message me on my other social medias. Do the damn thing, share this video with a friend, hit that like button, subscribe, comment below, hit that bell if you don't want to miss future movie reviews and you get the notifications. And once again, my name's Big Cam. Thank you guys so much. If you made it this far in the video, I highly appreciate you. Think about doing all the things to help the channel. And I will see you beautiful people in the next movie review. Peace!